Hello everyone. Okay, today we are going to discuss about the SVM, the virtual resources in the NetApp storage. NetApp storage, virtual resources. Okay, so we have a cluster, right? Inside the cluster, there will be multiple nodes. It can be up to 24 nodes, right? This is node 1, and the right side you can see that is node 2. Okay, so both nodes are connected with each other in high availability. Okay, it may be few more nodes are few nodes will be there in the same cluster, right? This can be a node 3 and node 4, right? Let me note it down here. 3, this is a 4. So we can say this is a 4 node cluster, and all nodes are connected with each other in the interconnect connection. Okay. So this is the switch, and this switch is known as an interconnect switch or cluster switch. Okay, so with the help of this switch, all nodes will be connected with each other. The high, okay. So there are 4 node cluster, and this is the entire the circle that you can see that this is a cluster. Okay, so you can see this is a cluster. Cluster is a configuration. This is not any hardware part. Okay, suppose we have the name of this cluster is cluster 1, and you will get the cluster management IP. Okay, to access the cluster, and you can access the cluster and do the management, right? There is a admin super user. Super user is the admin, right? So once you log in with the admin in the cluster, you will be able to manage all the resources, all the entire cluster, right? You can do the provision, you can do the modification, decommission, everything, right? So we have this cluster, right? This cluster is virtualized. Okay, this cluster is virtualized. Okay, in some SVMs. Suppose we have this is the cluster, and this cluster is virtualized in SVMs. What is SVM? SVM stands for storage virtual machine. Okay, the storage also known as a Vserver, right? So Vserver is a virtual server. Okay, so both are same thing. Okay, but SVM is a newer term. Okay, and Vserver is actually a older term, right? The meaning is same. So when you're going to work on the GUI, you can see the SVM, and if you're working on the command line interface, you can see the Vserver. Okay, so we have a cluster, and cluster is virtualized in SVMs. Okay, so this is the SVM. So why do we need a SVM? We need a SVM for the multi-tenancy. We have a one cluster, and you have a multiple departments, like you have a HR department. So you can create a separate server for HR department, admin department, finance department. Okay, and the department cannot see. All these SVMs are isolated. This is SVM. You can say SVM or vServer. Okay, this is also SVM or vServer. You can say any name, right? So this is SVM. This is treated as a virtual machine. So this is not just like a traditional virtual VM1. VM1 virtual machine, right? So this does not have a resource like CPU and memory and motherboard like that. This, okay, it is just a virtual container. So you have a HR department. You want to provision, okay, the storage only for HR underscore SVM. This is the name of the SVM. Okay, you can have the, okay, sales underscore SVM. Okay, you have finance as well. Fin underscore SVM. Okay, so this is a container. Okay, this is a container, and all are isolated with each other. Okay, so whatever data is there in the HR SVM, the sales SVM does not have a connectivity, right? So that is HR person will only be able to see the data which is provision inside the HR SVM. Okay, you are going to create a one volume inside this HR SVM. Okay, you are going to create one volume for salesperson, right? And you're going to create a volume for finance department. Okay, so SVMs are the owner of volume and the leaf. Okay, leaf is a IP, you can say leaf is a IP. Okay, leaf IP or W.PM. If you are working in Ethernet environment, then this is IP. If you are working in a fiber channel environment, then there is W.PM. Okay, so SVM, you have IP, you have created a leaf, you have IP for finance SVM as well, you have IP for the sales SVM as well. Okay, and you have a server, right? Server for sales, that server is being used by the salespersons. Okay, the finance people are accessing the finance server, right? The finance server, right? HR people are accessing their own system, right? Okay, so you can see the whatever data is there, okay, whatever data is there in sales SVM, okay. So all the SVMs you can see the isolated, okay. So this salesperson cannot see the data, whatever volume you have created here. Okay, this cannot be seen by any other departments. Okay, you have created the one storage here, right? You can do the provisioning on this server. Sorry. Okay, so you have done created the storage. It can be a SAN or it can be a NAS. Okay, and you have provision here on this finance team server, right? Same for this as well. Okay, so we use this SVMs for the multi-tenancy purpose, and this is the multi-tenancy. So whatever data is there in the HRSVM, finance person cannot see the data until and unless you are not going to provide the access. Okay, you have IP here. This IP is being used by this finance team. Same for the sales team, right? So you can see that. Okay, there is a isolation. Okay, there is a multi-tenancy. This is called a multi-tenancy. Okay, so that is a purpose to create the SVM. Okay, okay. I hope you understand this concept. Why do we use it? Okay, so we have some types of the SVMs. Okay, first one is admin SVM, second one is node SVM, and third one is the data SVM. Okay, these are the three types of the SVMs are there, and SVMs are always owner of volume and leaf, right? Okay. So we have this volume, sorry, we have this SVM. You have created this SVM. Okay, so by default, there will be a root volume will be created. Okay, so don't get confused about the root volume. There is a node level root volume is also there. That is vol 0. But here we are talking about the SVM root volume. Okay. So root volume is created just to define the namespace. A namespace, okay, define the directory structure. Okay. When we are going to create the when SVM, the root volume is created and that is a root, this root. And after that, if you are going to create any volume, normal volume, okay, you create any normal volume. Suppose this volume name is HR vol. Okay, so this HR vol will always come under root. This is the directory structure. Means on top in this SVM root is there. Okay, this root. Okay, this root. Okay, and under the root you have this HR volume. HR vol. Okay, if you are going to create another volume, that you can create another volume as well. Okay, that is a fin vol, finance vol, fin underscore vol. Okay, next you are going to create a sales. If you are going to create a sales, then you can create up under fin vol. Okay, this will be the junction path. Okay, so here you create that sales underscore vol. Okay, so this is the name is this root. First, at the time of SVM creation, by default root volume will be created. Okay, and this root define the directory structure. Okay, and that directory structure defined by the namespace. Okay, so we have what will the path, the root and then HR underscore vol, because this root is just after coming after root. Okay, so path will be root HR vol. Okay, and this is a path. You see that? Okay, this is a path. And what will be the path for this volume finance one? Root fin underscore vol, right? And what will the path for this volume sales one? Root fin underscore vol and then slash sales underscore vol. Okay, and this path is known as a junction path. Okay, this is known as a junction path, and this is important. Okay, this is known as a junction path. Okay, and this is important when you are doing the provisioning in the NAS environment. Right, so I hope you clear that you are clear on this. Okay, so let me take you on the lab. Okay, all right. So I'm going to open the putty first. I'm going to open the putty here, and I'm feeding the cluster IP. Okay, I already saved that, so let me log in, load, and then open. Okay, let me click. Let me feed that credential. Let me expand that. Okay. I will change some settings. Like I'm going to change the font size first. I'm going to make it 16. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to change the font color. I'm going to have a yellow. Right. So this is the color that I'm going to choose. Right. So to see the how can you see the vserver or SVM? If you're working on the command line, you have to use a vserver. SVM is not there. SVM will be used when you are using the graphical user interface. Okay, the first command to see the SVMs are vserver show, right? So the first command that you can run to see the vserver, okay, that is a vserver show, and you can see the vserver name here on the left. Okay, on the very left you can see that cluster one. This is the admin level vserver, admin type of the vserver, and this is a node type of the vserver. So two types of the vserver is created at the time of ONTAP installation and the cluster creation. Okay, next, how can we create the vserver? Simple, vserver create, and then vserver name SVM1. Simple things. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. It is now getting created. Okay, all right. So let me run the show command again. So you can see that admin type vserver, node type, and then the SVM that you created here is the data type. Okay, so the SVM that we create, that is a data type. Okay, so when we create the SVM, some default volume is created. So how can we see that volume? Down here, volume show hyphen vserver SVM1, right? So this is the this is the root volume. Root volume is get created automatically. We did not define that, okay, but it is created. Okay, and how can we see that the protocols allowed? So you have to run the show command and fields allowed protocols. Volume no. Okay, so we have to run the vserver show, not a volume show. Vserver show hyphen vserver svm1 and then fields allowed protocols, right? So once we run this command, we see that how many protocols are allowed in this one. Okay, so I can hit enter here. I'll show you. Okay, so we can see that NFS, SIPs, right? These are the part of the NAS. Okay, FCP ISKG, this is a this is a SAN protocol. Okay, NDMP, this is used for the backup purpose. Okay, and this is S3. S3 is a object storage protocol. Okay, so in the ONTAP, if you're going to use all flash or flash, okay, that can be used as a object storage as well. So from ONTAP 9.7, from 9.8 and after 9.7, your ONTAP has a feature to support the object storage solution as well. However, NetApp also has a separate dedicated ONTAP object storage solution, that is a storage grid, but all flash ONTAP also has a object storage solution. So you can see that the S3 protocol is there allowed in this one. Okay, so before ONTAP 9.8, you cannot see this protocol. Only NFS, SIPs, FCP, ISKG, and NDMPs are there. Okay. So since you are creating this SVM for NAS purpose, okay, only for NAS purpose, and other protocol you do not want, so you can remove all the protocol that is not required. So how can I do that? Vserver remove protocols and Vserver SVM1 and protocol you have to mention hyphen protocols. Okay, what are the protocol that you want to remove? I want to remove all these protocol because I am not going to use. So simply select this from mouse, okay, and right click, it will paste. Okay, I'm going to hit enter here, right? Let me run the show command, allowed protocol, correct? So these are the currently protocols are there, right? So if you want to add the protocol, how can we add that? Simple, okay, vserver add protocol. In protocols FCP, I want to add FCP, right? And in which vServer? SVM1. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. Let me run the show protocol allowed one. FCP is now added. Okay. So this is how you can create a vServer. You can allow the protocol. You can remove the protocol. Okay. And lastly, how can you decommission that, right? So for that, you have to do like vServer stop and vServer, right? Let me run the vServer show first. Right, you can see that admin state and operation state is running, correct? So if you're going to perform the decommission, right? So many steps are there. Like you have to first remove all the volumes inside the test VM. Okay, and you have done all the things. You can stop first stop vServer stop, and then vServer hyphen vServer SVM1. Right, it is stopping now. Successful. Let me run. It is now stopped. Now you can remove. You can delete it. Okay, like vServer delete, and then vServer SVM1. Okay, this job is running. Job ID 69. Let me run the show command. Right, so you cannot find the SVM1 data now. Okay. Okay, so that's all for the SVM. If you have any question, okay, so you can comment below, right? Okay, so we have our dedicated NetApp training platform. Okay, so we provide the training on the NetApp. If you're interested to join our WhatsApp group to be updated what's going on, what batch we are running, okay, so you can stay updated with us. Okay, you can join our WhatsApp group. If you have any query and concern, you can contact me as well. Okay, the number has been given already in the description. Okay, so you can get in touch. Okay, all right, thank you very much. Good luck, guys. Thank you.